5 questions you must never answer. There are 5 questions you should never answer, and the people who ask them cannot be trusted. These are not hard questions. They are not interrogations. They don't come with warning signs flashing in the air. They are the opposite of that. They are soft. They are warm. They sound like someone who cares about you, someone who respects you, someone who simply wants to talk. And that is exactly what makes them so dangerous. Because the most dangerous questions in the world never sound dangerous. They sound like friendship. They sound like honesty. They sound like trust. And by the time you understand what they really were, you have already given away something you can never get back. Machiavelli spent his life watching people destroy themselves, not on battlefields, but in conversations. One wrong answer at the wrong table could cost a man his allies, his name, or his power. And he noticed something most people still haven't figured out 500 years later. The people who fall are not the ones who get attacked in the open. They are the ones who get asked the right question at the right moment by the right person, and they answer fully and honestly because it felt safe. I am going to walk you through all 5 questions. The 5th one is the root, the one that makes the other 4 possible. If you learn to never answer that last one, the other 4 lose most of their power over you. But you need to see the first 4 first, so you understand why the 5th one matters most. Before we go further, I want to make one thing clear. This is not about becoming paranoid. This is not about treating everyone around you as a threat. This is about protecting yourself, learning which questions are safe to answer and which ones are built to take something from you that you never meant to give. That is not distrust. That is intelligence. If this is opening your eyes already, hit like and subscribe now. You don't want to miss the rest of this. Here is something most people never realize. You were trained since childhood to answer every question that comes your way. A teacher asks, you answer. A parent asks, you answer. Someone in charge asks, you obey. That training made you obedient. It did not make you powerful. Real power begins the moment you understand that not every question deserves your truth, that the small gap between someone asking and you answering is the most important moment in any conversation. In that gap, you either keep your power or you hand it over. Right now, that gap barely exists for you. By the end of this video, it will, and it will never close again. Let's begin. Question 1. The trap of permission after the fact. This first question happens to you all the time, at work, at home, with friends, with family. You will know it the second you hear it. Someone does something that affects you. They make a choice without asking you. They cross a line. They commit you to something without checking first. They change the plan. They give away your time. And only after it is already done, they turn to you and ask, you don't mind, right? Or, that's fine with you, isn't it? Or, you're okay with that, right? Stop and look at what just happened. They are not asking your permission. They already acted. The choice is already made. The thing is already done. That question is not really a question. It is an announcement wearing the mask of a request. And it is worded so that agreeing is your only real option, because the expected answer is, no, I don't mind. Anything else, anything that sounds like actually, I do mind, makes you look difficult, petty, unreasonable. The question is built so that disagreeing costs you something socially, and most people would rather swallow the insult than pay that price. The person asking knows this perfectly well. That is exactly why they did the thing first and asked the question second. Think about how many times this has happened to you. Someone gave away your Saturday without asking, then said, you don't mind helping out, right? Someone shared something private about you, then said, you're not upset about that, are you? Someone took the credit for your work, then said, we're a team, so it doesn't matter who gets the credit, right? Someone spent your time, your money, your energy, your name, and only afterward checked in with a question worded so that saying no would feel like starting a war. Watch what happens when you answer this question with, "It's fine." You think you're being easygoing. You think you're keeping the peace. But the person who asked just learned something important about you, that they can act first and get your approval later, and they will do it again. Next time, the line they cross will be a little further, a little more invasive, a little more expensive. Because every time you approve something you never chose, you raise the ceiling on what they believe they can take from you without asking. Machiavelli wrote that people judge far more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see, but few can touch. What he understood is that appearances matter more than reality. And the question, "You don't mind, right?" builds the appearance of your consent. It makes it look like you were asked. It makes it look like you agreed. And if you ever bring it up again, they will say, "But you said you were fine with it." That question didn't just win your agreement in the moment, it got your signature on a contract you never even read. So the next time someone hits you with, "You don't mind," don't nod, don't say "It's fine." Say instead, "Actually, I would have preferred you asked me first," or "I would have handled that differently." You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to make a scene. You simply stop saying yes when the whole situation is pressuring you to say yes. And once you stop automatically approving things you never chose, something shifts. People stop informing you of decisions. They start consulting you before making them. That shift from someone things happen to someone people check with changes your entire position. And it starts by refusing to answer one single question. That is the first question you must never answer, the trap of permission given after the fact. Question 2. Honesty used as a disguise. The second question is harder to spot because it doesn't arrive after something has gone wrong. It arrives before the damage dressed up as something a good friend would say, something that sounds brave, something that sounds respectful. Because of that disguise, you open the door to it every single time. Someone looks at you and says, "Can I be honest with you?" And you say, "Of course," every single time. Because what kind of person refuses honesty? What kind of person turns down the truth? So you say yes, and in that moment, you've handed someone the right to say whatever they want while dressing it up as a gift they're giving you. Think about the last time someone asked you this. What came next? Did it lift you up? Did it open your mind? Or did it plant a small seed of doubt, something that made you question yourself? I don't think this is going to work. I don't think you're ready. I'm not sure you're making the right call. And because they asked permission first, because they called it honesty, you weren't allowed to feel hurt by it. They were just being honest. They were just trying to help. But look at the pattern across your whole life. The person who says, "Can I be honest with you?" almost never follows it with something that builds your confidence. They follow it with criticism, with doubt, with something meant to slow you down, and they get to do it all while hiding behind the shield of one word: honest. You can't attack honesty. You can't be angry at someone for simply telling the truth. Except they weren't telling the truth. They were telling their opinion, and they used one word to make that opinion impossible to challenge. Now think about the people who genuinely care about you. When they have something hard to say, do they ask permission first? No, they just say it because real honesty doesn't need a running start. It doesn't need you to lower your guard before it arrives. The people who ask, "Can I be honest with you?" ask because they already know what they're about to say, won't feel like care, and they need your agreement in advance to soften how it lands. Because if they said it plainly, without warning, you'd recognize it instantly for what it is. The introduction is the mask. Take the mask off, and what's underneath is exposed. Machiavelli understood that the biggest manipulations are always dressed up as virtue. When someone wraps their attack in the language of honesty, courage, or care, you can't push back without looking like the problem, like the sensitive one who can't handle the truth. Meanwhile, they get to play the brave friend who was only trying to help you. The whole conversation is rigged before it even starts. Watch what happens once you stop accepting that setup. Someone asks, "Can I be honest with you?" Instead of saying, "Of course," say, "That depends what it's about." Or say, "You can say whatever you want, I'll decide what I do with it." Most people stumble right there. They hesitate. They backtrack because their entire approach depended on you saying yes without thinking. The moment you don't, the shield falls away. They have to say the thing without the armor of honesty protecting them. And suddenly it sounds a lot less like truth, and a lot more like what it always was, an opinion they wanted to deliver without any consequences. That is the second question, honesty used as a disguise. Quick pause. If you're getting real value from this, tap subscribe and drop a comment. It genuinely helps this channel keep going, and I read every single one. 2 questions down. 2 traps you can now recognize. You are already seeing conversations differently than most people ever will. Most people go their whole lives absorbing these 2 questions without ever noticing the trick behind them. You see it now, and that changes how people deal with you starting today. But the third question works in completely different territory. The first 2 took something from you in the moment. This one makes you carry something that was never yours, something heavy. And that weight follows you for months, sometimes years, without you ever realizing you picked it up willingly. Question 3. Handing off a decision. This is the most flattering trap of all 5, because it makes you feel important right before it makes you responsible. Someone asks you, "What would you do if you were me?" A friend, a co-worker, a family member. They lay out their situation, a problem, a fork in the road, a choice they can't make, and then they look at you with an expression that says, "I trust your judgment more than my own." And you answer, "Of course you do," because it feels good to be the one someone turns to. It feels like respect. So you think it through carefully, and you give them your honest opinion. But here is what actually just happened. That person had a decision to make, with real consequences attached to it. And instead of carrying the full weight of that decision on their own shoulders, they just handed part of it to you. Because now, if they follow your advice and it works out, who gets the credit? They do. They made the right call. Your name disappears from the story. But if they follow your advice and it fails, who gets the blame? You. You told them to do it. They will remember your exact words. They will replay that conversation and hold you responsible for a decision that was never yours to make. Think of a time you gave advice that didn't work out the way you hoped. Did that person own the outcome, or did they come back with, "You told me to do this. You said this was the right move"? Maybe they never said it out loud, but you felt the weight land on you anyway, because you had put your fingerprints on a decision that belonged to someone else. And fingerprints are evidence. Sometimes the person asking isn't even confused, they've already decided. But they want another name attached to that decision, in case it falls apart. A backup, someone to point to. And by answering "What would you do if you were me?" you volunteer for that role without ever knowing you signed up. Machiavelli wrote that a leader should always seek advice, but only on his own terms, never when others push it on him. What he understood is that giving guidance on someone else's terms puts you at their mercy. The moment you write the path for someone else's life, you inherit the fallout of that path with none of the control that comes with it. So when someone asks, "What would you do if you were me?" don't hand them the answer. Give them something better. Ask, "What are you leaning toward?" Say, "It sounds like you already know what you want to do." Put the decision back where it belongs without ever touching it yourself. You can listen, you can support them. You can ask questions that help them think it through, but never put your name on a choice that someone else has to live with. Let people own their own decisions. Your opinions about other people's lives stay safest in the one place nobody can ever use against you, inside your own head. That is the third question, handing off a decision. Question 4. Hunting the source. 3 questions sealed. Compliance, honesty, decisions, all protected now. But the 4th question moves into darker territory. The first 3 took something from you. This one takes something from someone who isn't even in the room, and you become the weapon without realizing you were loaded. You confront someone. You bring up something you heard, something you saw, something you know, a lie they told, a move they made behind your back, information that proves they aren't who they say they are. And instead of addressing what you just said, instead of dealing with what they actually did, they look at you and ask, "Who told you that?" And just like that, the whole conversation turns. Suddenly, you're no longer talking about what they did, you're talking about how you found out. They've steered the entire confrontation away from their own behavior and pointed it straight at your source. And if you answer, if you give them a name, you've just done 2 terrible things at once. You've betrayed the person who trusted you with that information, and you've handed the person you're confronting a new target, someone to punish, someone to discredit, someone to cut off. So the truth stops reaching you, and they can go back to operating in the dark. Think about every time someone deflected a confrontation with, "Who told you that?" Did the conversation ever circle back to the real issue? Almost never, because the redirect worked. You got pulled into defending your source, explaining how you found out, justifying why you were even looking into it, while the person who actually did the thing sat back and watched you scramble. They turned your confrontation into your problem with 4 words, and you helped them do it, simply by answering. Watch what happens when you give up that name. The person you confronted now has a new mission, not to fix what they did, but to eliminate whoever exposed them. They go after your source. They cut them off. They discredit them. They make sure no one ever tells you anything again. And the next time they do something behind your back, you won't hear about it, because the one person who would have told you has been burned because you answered a question that was never about truth. It was about control. It was about shutting down the only eyes and ears you had. Machiavelli wrote that one of the best ways to judge a ruler's intelligence is to look at the people around him. What he understood is that people who bring you the truth are rare and valuable. They are assets. And the question, "Who told you that?" exists for one purpose only: to find and remove those assets, so you're left blind again. Answering it doesn't make you honest. It makes you a danger to everyone who ever cared enough to tell you what was really happening. So when someone asks, "Who told you that?" never give a name. Never. Bring it back to the substance instead. It doesn't matter how I found out. What matters is whether it's true. Or, that's not the conversation we're having. Keep your source protected and leave the person who tried to redirect with nowhere left to go but back to the thing they were running from. Let them sit in that. Let them face what they did, instead of hunting the person who saw it. That is the 4th question, hunting the source. Before the last and biggest question, quick reminder that I wrote a full book on exactly this kind of thinking, The Sovereign Shadow. It breaks down the psychology of power, influence, and self-protection in a way this video can only scratch the surface of. If any of this is landing for you, that book goes much deeper. Link is in the description. 4 questions, sealed now: compliance, honesty, decisions, sources. Each one works through a different trick. Each one pulls something out of you that you should never have given away. But I told you at the start that the 5th question is the root, the one that makes all the others possible. Here it is, the one question that, once you stop answering it, changes everything. Because this question doesn't just take your agreement, your guard, your name, or your source. It does something worse. It disarms you completely. It kills the pause. It destroys the small gap between question and answer that protects you from every other trap, and you hand it over instantly, because refusing feels like committing a crime. Question 5. The master question. Someone looks at you and says, "You trust me, right?" And everything inside you wants to say yes, because saying no feels like an accusation. It feels like you're calling them a liar. It feels like you're the problem, the suspicious one, the one damaging the relationship by not handing over this one simple word. So you say it, "Of course I trust you," and the gates open, all of them, at once. Because once you've said those words, you've locked yourself into a position where questioning anything they do next makes you look like a hypocrite. You said you trusted them. So when they do something without asking and say, "You don't mind, right?" You can't push back. You trusted them. When they say, "Can I be honest with you?" and tear you down, you have to stand there and take it. You trusted them. When they ask what you do in their shoes and later blame you for it, you can't object. You trusted them. When they get caught and demand to know who told you, you feel the pull to answer, because you trusted them. That one word, that one yes, became a blank check, and they fill in the amount every time, and the amount is always more than you meant to give. Think about someone in your life who has asked you this. You trust me, right? Now, think about what happened in the weeks and months after you said yes. Did their behavior actually earn that trust, or did they use your own words as a shield every time their actions fell short? "I thought you trusted me. You said you trusted me. Why are you questioning me if you trust me?" Your own words became the chain they wrapped around you every single time you tried to see clearly. Every time something felt off and you wanted to question it, you couldn't, because you'd already promised not to, with one word. Here's what nobody tells you. The people who have genuinely earned your trust never ask for it. They don't need to. Their behavior already proved it. Real trust doesn't need to be declared out loud. It's built in what someone does, consistently, over years, not in a single sentence you're pressured to say in the moment. The question, "You trust me, right?" is only asked by people who need the words, because their actions haven't been enough. They need you to say it because they can't show it. And the second you say it, you've given them a shield, one they'll hold up every time their behavior doesn't match what they promised. And this is exactly why it's the master question. Why did you swallow the first violation? Because you trusted them. Why did you lower your guard for their honesty? Because you trusted them. Why did you carry a decision that was never yours? Because you trusted them. Why did you give up the name of someone who told you the truth? Because you trusted them. Every single trap in this video runs on this one. The first 4 are the arms. This is the heart. Cut off the heart and the arms go limp. Stop declaring trust on demand, and every other trap here loses its main weapon. Machiavelli wrote that a person who wants to deceive will always find someone willing to be deceived. And the question, "You trust me, right?" is exactly that mechanism. It's the moment you lower every wall on your own, not because the person proved anything, but because they asked in a tone that made refusing feel cruel. The fox doesn't force the gate open. He simply asks you to open it, and you do. So the next time someone asks you, "Trust me, right?" don't say yes and don't say no. Say, "I pay attention to what people do." That's it. Short, clean, true. Or say, "Actions show me that, not words." Take away the yes or no trap entirely. Refuse to sign that blank check and watch what happens. Someone who has genuinely earned your trust will simply nod and move on. They don't need the words, because their life already speaks for them. But the person who needed that yes, whose next move depended on hearing it, they'll push. they'll get uncomfortable. And in that pressure, you'll see exactly why they needed the declaration in the first place, because their behavior was never going to hold up on its own. The 5, together. You don't mind, right? Permission given after the fact. Can I be honest with you? A strike disguised as a gift. What would you do if you were me? A decision handed to you to carry. Who told you that? An attempt to hunt down and silence your source. You trust me, right? A blank check dressed up as connection. The root question beneath all the others. Now, look at your own life through these 5 questions. Who around you keeps acting first and asking later because they've learned you'll always say, "It's fine"? Who uses the word honest right before planting a seed of doubt in your mind? Who keeps coming to you for advice, yet somehow it becomes your fault when things fall apart? Who changed the subject the last time you confronted them, asking how you found out instead of answering for what they did? And who in your life keeps asking you to say you trust them because they haven't been able to show you with their actions? Answer those. Honestly, the answers will tell you exactly who has been using these questions on you and for how long. These 5 questions happen every day, at work, at home, over dinner, over text, from people you love and from people you barely know. And until this moment, you answered every one of them on autopilot. Without a pause, you signed off on things you never chose. You opened the door because someone dressed up their opinion as honesty. You put your name on a decision that was never yours. You gave up a source because the pressure felt louder than your judgment. And you handed out blank checks of trust to people whose actions should have already spoken for themselves, if the trust was real. All 5 have been running on you quietly, and you never even felt it happening. That's how smooth these questions are. That's how invisible the theft is. It feels like conversation, like connection, like being a decent person. And it is. It's just not the behavior of a protected one. But now you hear it. Now, when someone says, "You don't mind, right?" you'll feel the manufactured agreement forming and you won't sign it. Now, when someone says, "Can I be honest?" you'll hear the setup before the strike lands. Now, when someone asks, "What would you do?" you'll feel the weight shifting toward your shoulders and you'll let it pass by. Now, when someone asks, "Who told you?" you'll recognize the redirect and you'll hold your ground on the real issue. And now, when someone says, "You trust me, right?" you'll feel the blank check sliding across the table and you won't pick up the pen. You hear all 5 now and you can't unhear them. This isn't about suspecting everyone around you. Some people in your life are safe. Some people have earned that through years of consistent action, not by asking for your trust in a single conversation. This is about becoming intentional, about choosing what you give instead of handing everything over by default. The difference between someone who gets outmaneuvered in every conversation and someone who can't be moved isn't intelligence, it isn't experience. It's that one pause, that single beat of silence between the question and the answer, where you stop reacting and start choosing. Start building that pause today. The next time someone asks one of these 5 questions, don't answer out of habit. Let a beat pass. Feel what the question is trying to pull out of you, and then decide. Give people something if they've earned it. Give them nothing if they haven't. But make it a choice, not a reflex. Because the difference between someone who is always readable and someone people simply can't outplay isn't personality, it's discipline. And that discipline lives in the silence between the question and the answer. In the coming weeks, you're going to feel something shift in real time. Conversations will start to feel different, not tense, not guarded, just clearer. You'll notice the moment someone asks for permission after already deciding for you. You'll catch the word honest being loaded right before a hit. You'll feel the weight of someone else's decision sliding toward you, and you'll step aside from it. You'll protect your sources when someone tries to redirect a confrontation, and you'll sit calmly when someone asks for trust they haven't earned yet. The people around you will sense it, even if they can't name it. You won't come across as cold. You won't come across as distant, but something about you will feel different, steadier, harder to move, like someone who no longer gets pushed into corners. Like someone whose yes actually means something because it stopped being automatic. People treat you differently the moment they realize you can't be talked into compliance, when they realize your silence is a choice and that your agreement now has to be earned. That shift changes everything, not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped giving it away for free, one question at a time. Machiavelli spent his life studying how power moves between people, and the clearest pattern he ever found was this: the people who fall are never the ones who get overpowered. They're the ones who get out-asked, the right question from the right person at the right moment, and everything collapses. Not through force, but through a conversation that felt safe right up until it wasn't. 500 years later, the questions have changed their clothes, but they haven't changed their purpose. They still extract, they still disarm, they still put the asker above the one answering, and the only defense that has ever worked is the one you now carry with you: the pause, the gap. The ability to hear a question and choose, instead of simply comply. Most people will spend their whole lives answering every question that comes their way, nodding when they should stay still, agreeing when they should stay silent, explaining when they should walk away. And they'll wonder why they keep ending up in situations they never chose, carrying weight they never picked up, defending decisions that were never theirs. They'll never trace it back to the conversation. They'll never hear the real question hiding behind the question, but you will, because you hear it now. If something shifted in you while watching this, tell me in the comments. I guard my answers. Let's see how many people here are done being the ones who always say yes. And if you want to go even deeper into this way of thinking, how to read people, protect your position, and hold power in every conversation, my book, The Sovereign Shadow, was written exactly for this. It's the full framework behind everything in this video and more. Grab it using the link in the description, and if this video helped you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.